Obviously, the cash condition that the city finds itself in has been a strain on the city. If you look, the city's been running deficits really every year since 2005, and they've been masking over those in a way with some long-term borrowings. Under government accounting rules, long-term borrowings are deemed revenue. So if they weren't doing the long-term borrowings for the past 7 years, the actual accumulated deficit would grow from $327 million to $937 million. And as you've heard a lot of talk lately about the long-term liabilities of the city are now approaching about $14 billion. And what we learned in the past year is there are serious, hurdles in front of the mayor as well as city council from just a governance structure of the city. Some of those come in the form of impediments from the city's charter. And it was this accumulation of items that led this team to get to the conclusion that while we all know there's financial strain on the city, there's also not an ability or a mechanism in place for the city to address it absent a finding of emergency. So that is the recommendation that was sent to the governor today. He has 30 days to react to that report, and he can accept or reject the findings of the review team. And after he makes his determination, if it is in fact emergency status, the city can request a hearing for a reconsideration within 10 days of the governor's determination. So that was basically what was in the report today. For the past couple hours, I've been reaching out to the mayor, city council members, and legislators in Lansing to put them on notice of what the finding was. And it's really our hope that at the state level, this is really a partnership with the city. It doesn't have to be adversarial. If you look at our relationships in Flint and Pontiac, both mayors there are partners with the managers, and it's a partnership rather than an adversarial situation. And we would hope the same here in Detroit. I've spoke to most of the council members today and expressed that same desire, that would like to meet with them and explain how it was I personally came to this conclusion and how I do think that the city can navigate. I think we've seen a lot of progress from the mayor and the council over the past couple months, and I think a lot of the ingredients for the turnaround of the city are in place. Now we just need to execute. And I do believe strongly that Detroit is fixable and that it can see brighter days ahead in the near future. I think what's really important going forward is, there is restructuring of existing debts, and then there's also the operational side of the city. And I'll give you an example. When we went through the review process, we met with, the acting chief, who presented to us that I think over 85% of Detroit police officers are doing police officer work, whether it be patrolmen or investigations. And then you meet with some other folks that have a much different number, maybe a third are actually on the streets and 2/3 are behind desks. One example would be when we first started the review, there were 65 full-time employees, police officers, doing payroll for the city. So we know there's an inefficiency there. And I think that ideally, if you can reallocate the resources, you can provide better services to the residents at less cost. And I would acknowledge that Detroit police officers are underpaid. And there's really, that's true of all city employees. Detroit employees are not overpaid. And I think you wouldn't look at fixing the city by further cutting wages and benefits. That's not the solution that I see as necessary.